Finding a good product market fit, it's more of a financing game than building a good product game. And then we didn't have the luxury. We spent 4 years together, made many founders' mistakes. I thought I was good at reading what people want. It's hard to tell anyone around me that, that was my mistake. My name is Jungsuk Jay Lee. I'm currently heading the Subtitles US team, CEO of NAVER Z USA. NAVER is a tech giant in Korea. You can think of it as a South Korea's Google. We are operating proto-metaverse that people can express themselves, connect, create, and play. What I learned through my career journey, there were actually many things that I didn't feel like I have much control over. There's a lot of relationships, a lot of random things, external factors that we have to kind of learn how to read the waves and kind of ride them. So I just kind of wanted to share that perspective. I grew up in Seoul. I was like a cool kid, extrovert, like to hang out with people. I was walking down the street after school and there was a guitar sound coming out from this building. So I walked down with friends, knock and open up the door, and there was this guy with ponytail, smoking cigarettes and playing the guitar. Oh, you're so cool. Can you teach me how to play guitar? Me and my friends, we called him just a master. We made a band and started playing. I told my mom, I want to quit high school. I'm going to be a rock star. I can make you happy. She was like, oh, son, okay, let's talk about it. Going to college, think of it as an insurance. It doesn't hurt to have an insurance. You have all the freedom you want. As soon as you get into college, your life is yours. Deal, let's do it. As soon as I got into college, I signed with the label, a music label. I spent most of my 20s in the music industry, pursuing my passion for music as a recording artist / music producer. Long story short, that company went bankrupt. I had to sign with another label. Another bad thing happened. Then another label, another bad thing happened. I think I beating myself up, thinking that, like, what's wrong with me? What are the things that I can do for now? I had a friend, we went to same school. She invited me to her place and I met 2 surfer dudes there. That was the day that I did recording for my songs. I was like, hey, check this out. What do you think? And they were like, oh, cool stuff. So they remembered that I was a music guy. A few weeks later, a couple months later, and one of the surfer dudes reached out to me, hey, why don't you come over to my office? Yeah, there were a group of people. It was Daft Sisters, that later known as a developer of Cookie Run. They introduced themselves that they're from this internet industry, game industry. Suddenly, the CEO was asking, hey, are you interested in working with us? I was like, you're a bunch of techies. I'm a music guy. What do you expect from me? I don't remember exact wording, but it was something like, this is new. We all have to just learn. We don't know what will bring success. I was like, okay, sounds good. And how much are you paying me? He was basically saying, you're gonna only get $1,000 a month. But there's a 1% stock. It could be a piece of paper, or you could maybe be able to buy a house with it. Here's an unrealized value. The worth of the company is up to us. Do you want to be on this boat? And I said yes. I remember my college friends, they were asking me, hey, you wasted 7 years? Like, what are you doing? You're doing this venture thing? I have never heard of the company. You know, getting yourself prepared for Samsung. And I was like, you do your thing. This is what I'm passionate about. I joined the company as a sound designer, and I was making all the sound effects for games and, you know, background music. But they allow me to work on any like new project ideas as a product manager or UX designer. Hey, why don't you flesh out the detail, kind of workflow, wireframing, and they train me. That's how I started my career when I was 26. Basically, all healthy Korean guys, they have to go to military. It's your duty as a citizen. And there's a substitute program. You can either serve at a military base as a GI, or you can work as a researcher at labs at universities or at private corporations, and Daft Sisters was not ready for that. So I had to find another company. I joined OlaWorks, computer vision technology startup, 12 years ago. They already had an augmented reality browser that ended up acquired by Intel. I did a lot of kind of work to bridge the gap between Korea and the US headquarters about many different projects. And I was so ready to move to Silicon Valley. So as soon as I finished my military duty, next day I fly to San Francisco and started my new chapter Yeah, I moved to San Francisco in 2014. In 2016, I co-founded Buzz Music with my best friend. So we wanted to build something that requires very minimal input, but sense this person's context and provide the most contextually aware recommendation of music based on the timing in the early morning versus at night before going to bed. And then we looked at more younger audience. So maybe they're open to new ideas, new apps, because they are more kind of digital native, grew up with iPhones. And then what they were basically saying is the music to them is more of a social medium. It matters more what kind of music I listen to and share this with their friends. When the company was founded, it was 2016. There was no TikTok in the US. There was only Musical.ly. And when we decided to make a pivot, we found an opportunity. Musical.ly is full of 12-year-old kids doing this lip sync and dance. But what if all the high school kids, college kids sharing their music? This is my workout jam. So we saw an opportunity as a sort of a music-centered social media when there was no TikTok again. We were able to recruit a lot of kind of content creators who want to build a playlist and express their lives through the videos and add music to it and share that playlist or share a single song. And then they were asking more kind of fun ways to express themselves, like visual effects. It became more of a, less of a playlist, but more of a single song and kind of music video of the moment. And they started sharing that piece. The growth metrics took off after we made a pivot. The problem is these content creators stopped kind of posting a lot. And we had to question, like, what's happening now? Life is funny. TikTok acquired Musical.ly and started pouring out money. And these content creators were telling us, hey, we're getting paid by TikTok. Sorry, your product is pretty cool, but my time is limited. We realized that finding a good product market fit is only the beginning. And we need to find ways to either scale the company like really, really big. It's more of a financing game than building a good product game, because TikTok was pouring out money. It's just investment. And then we didn't have the luxury to pay creators. No, we couldn't really imagine. I told my team, I'm not sure what my vision is now. We made a pivot and did another try, but also started having conversations with potential buyers. It's about this process of ego shattering, identity shaking process. I thought I was good at building things. I thought I was good at reading what people want. Who am I if they don't like my work? I had to find peace. This ups and downs, as much as your achievement could feel important, but maybe it's more important that being more real, human, learning to share your vulnerability and asking for help. And it's definitely not an easy process. It's hard to say sorry. It's hard to tell anyone around me that, that was my mistake. Because I had this huge burden that, you're the leader. You're the founder. You gotta set the direction. Yeah, of course, leaders should set the direction, but leaders also should be able to invite the team members into the creation process and walk them through, this is where we are. We have to decide. Do I wanna build a tool? That's not what I co-founded this company for. Was your dream small enough to go into this tool route? Yeah, there were a lot of questions. And when I shared with them openly, they were more encouraging than being disappointed. They were more like, I've been waiting for this moment that you opened up. The angel investors who invested in Buzz Music, they're basically my previous managers from Dev Sisters, from OlaWorks, and not returning the money to them, for me, it was a kind of personal failure, even a bigger failure. I wanted to be faithful, and I wanted to really appreciate their support and their trust in me. I didn't want to let them down. There were a few companies offered alternatives. Forget about the company, just dissolve it. For the investors, it's part of the game. They don't get the return for every single investment. So it's totally okay. And why don't we use that money instead to give you a big sign-on bonus check? I told the team that that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, we decided to find a buyer who would acquire us as a whole team, not excluding anyone. There was a kind of the last thing that I could do for the investors for appreciating, put their trust in me. Yeah, so in 2020, as of February, the company got acquired, and my new responsibility is building a US team for Zepeto. life is full of unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. How did I know this random surfer dude would introduce me a new opportunity? We started as a mobile app developer. Let's build something, whether it's a web or mobile based. Yeah, we were kind of open to new opportunities. A lot of founding members left Dev Sisters. A venture capital reached out to us who have the shares, and they were basically offering, hey, why don't you sell your shares to us? I was like, okay, how much is the valuation? And it was pretty sizable. I could buy a nice condo in Gangnam with that money. It's not bad. I'm not even 30. It's a pretty good deal. So I decided to sell my stocks. A couple months later, company went public at 12x valuation. So it went public at a 500 million valuation. Humility. A lot of the founding members who produced Oven Break, which later became Cookie Run, creative people left. My reasoning was, yeah, how much you can milk out this one title if you don't have people who can create new game? This company is destined to fail. My arrogant kind of judgment that Dev Sisters lost its engine, creative engine, that was my judgment, but I was wrong. Yeah, humility. What I learned through my career journey, there were actually many things that I didn't feel like I have much control over. If I just keep getting stuck at how do I be better? How do I be more productive? And then I would lose sight on kind of bigger picture of life. Whether you build a product or content or a team or do the pitch, I think people react to stories. If you can't move people's heart, all these great metrics may not even matter. That's what I learned. It's all about finding connections, being able to understand their needs. That's a product market fit. Or finding an investor. Are you investing in usually C stage or Series A stage? It's about empathy. You want to study in advance. Like, what's your focus area? What's your focus domain? What's your focus stage? So I think empathy, being able to connect with people, understanding them is really the key. And I don't want to miss out opportunities to better connect with people at the cost of better productivity or efficiency. We share lives together. It's not you individually, make achievement and prove your worth. It's a thing that we do as people together. I learned to value the relationships. The one thing I'm super proud of is not ended up getting acquired by another company or being able to return this investment money to the investors and all. But I'm more proud that I still love my team members. We still stay in touch. Yeah, we really appreciate each other. That's what I'm proud of. I will probably continue to find the balance between achieving the goal, but also having a deeper connection with team members too. If we view each other as a workforce, as a contributor, just domain expert, if there's no kind of shared spirit that we're looking at the same direction, we're on the same boat, it will break down. Yeah, that was a big learning.